Good morning. I'm riding the Hot Mess Express this morning, so excuse that. But I wanted to do a video on homeschooling because I haven't done that yet. So I just wanted to give kind of a quick look at what we do, how we got started. Um, so for me, I pulled my kids out of school this year. They did end up going for the first 2 or 3 weeks, and I had kind of battled with the idea of homeschool last year, and I wanted to pull them out. Well, my daughter hadn't started school yet. She's in pre-K this year. So I wanted to pull my son out, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I psyched myself out so much. I was so worried. I was like, he's going to miss his friends. And what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not a good enough teacher? What if I don't have the patience? What if it doesn't work out or he's miserable and I can't keep his focus? There were so many things I thought could go wrong. Um, so I didn't end up doing it last year. This year, we had a lot of safety concerns around our area. So, a lot of school violence, basically. So, that kind of gave me the push that I needed. There were also other issues. My son has ADD, and it was really difficult. This year in particular was really difficult for him. We were 2 weeks in, and I was already called in for a conference, and I was like, okay, I can see that it's not going as positively as I would have liked it to go. So I pulled him out. In second grade, he had a teacher who was really understanding with his ADD, and she would give him a fidget to play with at his desk or tell him that he could choose something that he could bring to school for the week to help him focus. She would allow him to get under his desk and do his work if he wanted to, or do his work on the carpet during circle time, and things like that were really beneficial for him. She was so understanding and so kind. This year, the teacher, basically, if he wasn't doing something that he was supposed to be doing, if she put a worksheet on his desk and he wasn't doing it, he was fidgeting, he was tapping on his desk or doodling on his paper, she would just basically come right a zero on it. If she didn't do that, then she would pull him from recess and make him stay inside with a teacher's aide and do his work during what was supposed to be recess. He was getting pulled from PE. And if anybody knows anything about a kid with ADD or ADHD, they need that physical activity. Every child needs physical activity. That's why we have recess in school. That's why we have classes like PE. And I tried to talk to her about that and say, if you want his focus, stop pulling him out of the classes where he's going to be able to get his wiggles out to do his work, because he's not only, he might get that work done, but he's not going to do it well. And then you're going to have a struggle for the rest of the day. And then we were having struggles when he came home with his behavior, because he wasn't able to get his kind of hyperactivity out at school during recess or PE. And he also felt very left out. He felt very secluded from his classmates. So, long story short, this school year wasn't going very well. We also didn't want his work being sent home with him. I mean, it wasn't a worksheet. It was 6, 7, 8 worksheets being sent home for him to complete in the evening. My kids are in sports. They were in soccer, and now they're in baseball. They have dinner time, they have bath time, and then they go to bed, and that's basically their time at home. So then to also trying to fit in doing all of those worksheets, it was impeding on our family time, and then time that I would use to teach them life skills like cooking, baking, cleaning, farm work. We grow a garden, we process animals, we do so many things here that teach them things that they need to learn. And they weren't getting any of that. So we went ahead and pulled them out. It's been working wonderfully for us. My son has done a complete 180. He's incredible with his work. His focus is there. His attention is there. I'm able to be lenient with him. And that doesn't mean you don't have to do your work today if you're not feeling it. That doesn't mean, oh, you don't like doing this or you're not paying attention, we'll just stop. It just means if maybe, you're working on a math page and I can see that you're struggling, you're having a hard time paying attention. Sorry, my kids are really loud in the background. But if he's struggling with that page, I can say, hey, you know what? Let's take a break from math for a minute, grab a snack. I'll grab, a granola bar and a bottle of water or something. We'll take a break from it and move on to social studies for a little while. And when you feel like you're kind of back in the game, we'll go back to math. There are days where homeschool for us looks like going on a nature walk, going hiking. We do have farm animals here, so they learn a lot from that. This year, they've birthed baby goats, they've processed pigs, they've rendered their own lard from pigs that we've raised here on the farm. They've grown their own food and harvested and made their own dinners. They've made homemade remedies. They've done so many things that they weren't able to do, basically, while they were in school for 8 hours a day. I'm not saying that public school is a bad thing. I think it's a gift to a lot of people who aren't able to homeschool. For me, thankfully, I am, and this is what's working for us. So as far as their work, we have flashcards that are color-coded for different things. We have some history flashcards. We have vocab, primarily for my 5-year-old, like sight words. We have Spanish flashcards that we work with. Our workbooks, I went ahead and got Spectrum off of Amazon, and it's really cool because, let me try to see if I can show it on camera. There's a nice little there are answer sheets in the back of the book. So for me, it's been a while since I've been in school, and sometimes with my 4th grader, he'll come across something that I stumble on a little bit, and I'm like, I think this is it, but I'm able to go in the back of the book and check my answer and help him with it. You can also get teacher books where it teaches you, how to do the work before, so you can teach them the process before you teach them. Also, in these books, there are QR codes. Okay, there are QR codes up here that you can scan, and it gives you a nice video tutorial that you can watch. So my kids graduate in 2 weeks. They are graduating by a proof of progress report. So a proof of progress report is basically a report that anyone with a, I think, bachelor's degree in teaching can provide. So what I'll do is I'll bring our tutor who is doing our POP, all of my kids' books. I'll bring my planner, which is this. This actually came from my son's school, but since he was only in school for 2 weeks, it was barely used. There was like 2 pages of it used. So I will keep track of what I teach them during the day. Especially, I'll write what books that we use that day. I'll say that we've worked on our math book, or we've worked on our Virginia Studies book, and then what pages. But I primarily use the planner to write things that we've done outside of our book work, because our books she's gonna see, but I'll write that we've done, farm work that day, that they've planted seeds in the garden, or if they've harvested, or they've processed animals, or like when they birthed our goats, or if they're getting milk, or whatever they're doing for the day. That's educational. That doesn't have to do with our books. We go on a lot of field trips. We do a lot of hiking. We go on nature walks. We go to museums. So we do a lot outside of the books, and all of that I'll write in this planner. So she'll go through the planner, look at everything that we've done throughout the year. She'll look at all of their book work and just make sure that they've made progress. I didn't just pull them out of school to be lazy because I didn't want to get up in the morning. That they actually have done, they've done their work, and they've learned and made progress throughout the time that they've been homeschooled. And then she will write a report just saying, I went through all their work, and I believe that they've done everything that they need to do to meet the expectations that they need to meet, And in my opinion, they have passed, their fourth grade and preschool year. And then that will go to our superintendent, and they passed. I know you can also do a test. It's like a 6-hour test that we have, where it's split up into 2 days. So they'll go one day and do a 3-hour test, and then the other day will be another 3 hours. And they pass or fail the test. Basically, they fail, they repeat, and then they actually have to go back to public school. If they pass it, they move on to the next school year, homeschooled, if that's what you want to do. For me, when I started my homeschool journey this year with my kids, I just had to write a short little paragraph basically saying my kids' names and ages, what school they go to, that I'm pulling them from public school for whatever reason. It's my intention to homeschool them for the rest of the year, and we will be learning, whatever list of subjects, and that I intend on having a tutor or having someone write their POP at the end of the year. I got an email back immediately from our superintendent and from his secretary saying that, they are officially pulled out. It's fine. I didn't even have to wait for the response. I actually sent in my email and said, this is the day that I intend on pulling them. And the moment that email reaches their inbox, you can pull them that day. You don't even have to send them the next morning. I also had a lot of anxiety about that because I'm like, oh my gosh, what if they don't get the email? What if I wasn't allowed to do that and I got some really bad advice? So I sent the email in for that following Friday would be their last day. So we had like 3 days left in the week. And before the end of the week, I received an email back, but that was really nice. And I felt like I could kind of take control back of my kids. I could teach them, what I wanted them to learn. I could spend more time one day on life skills. They've learned about money. They've learned about taxes. They've learned about so many things that you aren't really taught in school. So that's been really nice for us. I do give them holidays just like they would have in a public school. I give them off a few days for Christmas. They have off a few days for like their spring break. Summer, my intention, so this is our first homeschool year, so I haven't done this yet, but my intention for summer is not to completely stop school for the summer. I would still like to do maybe some worksheets. I'll focus more on life skills, but I do still want to add in some time for worksheets because I just think that you lose so much of the information that you've learned over the year during that 2-month break. So I would like for them to kind of retain that knowledge and sharpen the saw a little bit and not forget it. As far as my son's behavior goes for homeschooling, he was coming home upset. He was coming home crying because he just felt so singled out. He felt very targeted in school this year. He is so much more positive. He's so much happier. His attention is so much better. He's paying such close attention when we do work. I'm not having to ask him several times to complete something. He does it on his own. They know their routine pretty well, so generally they will just get up out of bed and come sit at the table because they know it's time for homeschool without me even having to ask. He's getting along better with his siblings. During the school year, I noticed he was kind of coming home and taking his frustration out on his younger siblings because he had been miserable all day. And he would come home and he wouldn't want to play. They would want to do something he wouldn't want to. He would want alone time. He would shut himself in his bedroom for long periods of time. And he just was really secluding himself at home because he had felt so secluded at school. So all of that has changed. He's so much more positive. He's happier. He's not needing so much alone time. He's wanting to play with his siblings and play with his mom and dad and go outside and do things. he's not as depressed. His anxiety is not near as bad. He's really thriving. This has been such a blessing. I also just want to make it clear that I am in no way bashing public school. Public school is such a blessing for a lot of families, and it's been a blessing for us. Leading up to homeschool, I worked full time. There would have been no way that I would have been able to homeschool my kids. So this is just basically an informative video if maybe you're thinking of homeschooling, but maybe you're nervous and you don't have all the information that you need. And basically just kind of what we do and what works for us, what doesn't work for us. And for us, public school wasn't working anymore. But if I didn't have public school for my kids leading up to this, I would have been out of options. So I don't want to make it sound like public school sucks. This is the way to go. This is just the way to go for us. And if you're wondering if this is the way to go for you too, then I hope this video helps.